Today we'll be taking a look at the Rhino Rack track mount roof rack system with Vortex Aero Crossbars. This kit is going to come with everything you need to get a crossbar on top of your camper shell or your cap topper on your truck. It's going to be a very useful, versatile system. We'll have our two sliding tracks to mount the bars to, and these allow you to adjust the width of your bars apart and have some adjustability there. Once these are mounted up, these look like factory installed tracks, and they're really, really slick. You can see we'll have a nice beveled edge on the outside, so it tapers down. Each one ends in a little rubber cap to finish off the look there. And this end with this cutout in that track, you want to face toward the rear of your vehicle. The other end just ends there, so if you need to, you can cut this to length to fit with your vehicle. This measures 63 inches long, and that's going from the end of the track, not counting the feet on either end. If we go to the very end of the feet as well, it's about 67 inches long. So you want to make sure you have really about 70 inches or about 5 feet 10 inches of space on top of your camper shell. It needs to be relatively flat. You don't want to be putting this on something that really ramps up. But if yours is a little bit shorter than that, you can cut this front end off to length. You want to make sure though that it's a nice clean flush cut so that those caps fit on properly. There are different lengths of track available if you want to pick up a different kit, either one that has a 55-inch track length. Some of them will mount a little bit differently, but we do have a lot of options here at etrailer.com for those tracks. The thing that's nice about this particular part number though is that everything comes as a kit. We'll have our track and the bars included and all that hardware to get everything installed. The bolts here slide into the bottom of our tracks, and that's where they'll actually go through our camper shell, and they'll get tightened down with these large sort of handle nuts. There's a little locking nut on the inside there to keep it nice and tight and secure, and some rubber O-rings to give us a little bit of water resistance, and some more sealing rubber stickers or rubber pieces here. Again, to seal out any water, make sure that we don't have any issues with seeping water getting into our camper shell. There's also some adhesive on either side of that track as well, so it's pretty well protected. People seem to really like these. They hold up well for a long time. The thing, of course, with these is that you do have to drill into that camper shell. To get this installed, you have to drill a few holes. You want to make sure that you measure everything out really well, take your time with it, and be careful whenever you're drilling into that fiberglass camper shell, and just use some patience so you make sure that you don't crack it or measure wrong and get things off. That's probably going to be the hardest part of this install, but other than that, it's pretty straightforward. Once you have all those mounting holes measured out, drilled out, drop the hardware through, tighten everything up, then it's just a matter of attaching the roof rack, and the bars will drop in to the feet. So whenever you're not using the system, you can take these crossbars off, and then you just have your tracks sitting like this with the little caps on top, so it keeps everything sealed up. But then we'll have our quick mount feet. We'll have our two red tabs there. If you push those in and up, it's a little hard for me to do showing it to the side here. That will bring those two tabs in, and then that just drops down onto the bar, and then the feet snap in. So that makes it a really quick system to use to get everything attached. And these feet can slide anywhere along the track. So if you want to have it wider for any larger items like lumber, kayaks, canoes, things like that, or narrower if you're using a bike rack, or any other kind of roof mount accessory, you can really dial it into whatever specifications you need. The bars measure 54 inches long. And again, that's going from the end of the bar itself. So we'll have our cap on either end. And as far as the mounting position, the widest that we can possibly have this from center to center of those feet is right at that 54 mark. So that's how far apart they are. It's going to depend on your camper shell and how far it needs to be apart from there. It can, of course, come in. That's just how long the bar is going to be. The narrowest that we can make those bars roughly would be about 32 inches, going from a little bit in from the narrowest point there where we can mount that foot up. So again, it just gives you a lot of options. This is going to fit a lot of different vehicles. To be sure if this is a fit for you, we do have a fit guide here at etrailer.com. You can put in your year, make, and model and check that out there. The other thing I like about this kit is that it does come with the keys to get our caps on and off, so no one can remove our bars and mess with those. Once the bars are in place, they cover up the hardware for the tracks, so no one can get in and adjust those. To move these along the track, have a little hex key. It does have a punch in the middle to make it a little bit more tamper-proof. But once it's loose, slide it right along wherever you need it to be. Tighten it back down, and it'll hold everything in place. So I think this kit is really nice. It's all made of sturdy material. Rhino-Rack is a really good brand. They stand right along there with Thule and Yakima. I think their stuff holds up really well. This is going to be a less expensive version than what you would get typically from Thule or Yakima, but I think it really is just as good quality material. The bars are made of an anodized aluminum, so they'll have a lot of good strength, but still pretty lightweight, so it's not too hard to get them mounted up. The tracks are made of stainless steel, so we don't have to worry about any corrosion with either one of our components. Everything fits together really nicely, and again, just as long as you're patient and take your time with drilling those holes out, it's not too bad of an install. This will give you a lot more room inside your truck, so if you want to have the inside of your truck bed to use as a camping area, have one of those mattresses inside your truck bed, use that, or just load up your gear, load up your friends, your pets, whatever, and then have everything else loaded up on top. It's just going to make the most out of the space for your truck and give you a lot of options for those camping trips. If you're bringing a lot of friends, bringing a lot of stuff, you'll be able to get the most out of your vehicle. The weight capacity for this is 220 pounds. Again, our track length is 63 inches per side. The crossbar is 54 inches per side. Then that's measuring 3.5 inches wide, 1.5 inches tall. Once we have our bar mounted on top, going from the middle of that mounting point to the top of the bar, it's about 3.5 inches. And then from the bottom of the bar to where it would mount in, it's about 1.5. So that's about 5 inches of height, roughly, that you'd be adding to the top of that camper shell, just so you want to know how much space you're going to be adding to the top of your vehicle. The bolt length that's going to go through is 1 3/8 inches, but I'd say you really want to make sure that your camper shell is no more than 1 inch thick, because that's about the minimum that you can get this through the bar and then actually get these nuts to start on there. I have seen some customers say that this bolt ended up being a little bit too short for them, and they had to switch this out for something a little bit flatter, since that nut sits down in the cap about 1/4 inch. So you really only have, at most, 1 inch of space to get that threaded on there. So that's something to keep in mind. This does come with a limited lifetime warranty from Rhino Rack. And again, as I've said, I've used Rhino Rack stuff for years here at etrailer.com, and I really like what they have to lay out. Another accessory that you might consider getting with this would be one of Rhino Rack's cargo baskets, the RMBC and RMBC02. They're both really nice cargo baskets to load up on top of your roof bars. And the thing I like about them is that the supports go lengthwise, so it makes it easier to get those feet adjusted on there and adjusted out. Of course, since you have the sliding bars, it makes it easy too, but their stuff just lasts for a long time, and I think it's really good quality product. And that's going to do it for our look at the Rhino Rack track-mounted roof rack system.